Hey folks, KLAY S. Williams here at Plan A with Clay on all socials. So glad you're joining me today to discuss the 4 quadrants of support. The 4 quadrants of support. So, over my years of being a holistic wellness coach, I've come to really understand that there are a plethora of reasons why we don't ask for support, but also I've come to understand the ways in which not asking for support materializes and manifests in other areas of our life. And so, we're going to talk today about how to do 3 things: ask for support, be able to support ourselves with work life balance. And a third part of the conversation is helping you get rid of and to sort of heal the imposter syndrome within the lack of confidence, lack of self worth. And so we hope today's exercise is going to be beneficial to you. So let's get started. So you'll see on the worksheet that I start with the first thing. Number one, I celebrate. Why is that important? So many times when we're trying to create new endeavors in our lives and we're trying to focus in on some new aspects that we really want to go, we don't take the time to stop and ask ourselves, why are we in the scenario that we're in to begin with? And so the first part of this worksheet is, what do you celebrate about yourself? I'm not asking you, what are you good at doing? I'm asking you, what do you celebrate about yourself? So go ahead and write that down. I celebrate, and take your time through that. The second part of the worksheet, you'll see it says, my growth edges are. Now, for a lot of people, they're not comfortable with saying my weaknesses. And so that's okay. What we're trying to really understand is, what are you learning? What are you growing towards? What are you working on to support yourself? And you know in your heart of hearts that this is really a growth edge for me. For example, being someone that's patient, someone that's not judgmental, someone that jumps to conclusions or assumptions. Is a growth edge could possibly be not being rational. Is a growth edge not setting boundaries with other people? And so, whether it's personal or professional, go ahead and write those things down. What are your growth edges? All right. So we have, I celebrate. And number 2, we have, my growth edges are. Now we're going to jump down to the next part of really what the 4 quadrants are. And you'll see that it says you, me, personal, professional, and last but not least is special to me. What is an area in your life that you need support in that only you know, that's very special and unique to you? It will be very presumptuous of me to tell you what that 4th area is. Those 3 areas that we have clarified are things that are very important and needs to be nurtured by us and for us. So in that 4th quadrant, go ahead and write something that is important to you. For some people, it's needing support in your health, wellness, and fitness journey. For some people, it's a special relationship that you know you really need to have a level of support in. Okay. All right. So now we have the me part. And what I mean by the me part, when you think to yourself ways in which you need support, sometimes we're looking externally and not asking ourselves the question of, how can I support myself for myself? Meaning, what is it that I know I need to give to myself in order to be successful that I have been ignoring? And for an example, it's, maybe I need to give myself better boundaries with other people. Maybe I need to give myself more courage to jumpstart this endeavor. Maybe I need to give to myself the ability to try to start. What are areas of support that you need to give to yourself for yourself to get things started? Because the truth is, any level of work life imbalance, any level of not asking for support, and also imposter syndrome, that lack of confidence, is a communication breakdown with ourselves, with other people that we're in relationship with, whether that's personal or professional, and something needs to be addressed. So, where's the communication breakdown here as the example for yourself? What have you been denying yourself that you need to activate in order to give yourself the support that you need? Now let's move over to personal. In personal, we're talking about your personal relationships that you have with other people that you live with, that you're in community with. What are areas when you think about these relationships, and you can think about one or two people as an example, that you're not really getting what you need and you need to have a level of support from them and you can't get that from them? Where's the communication breakdown there? What are the supports that you need to ask? And go ahead and write those names down and then write clearly, this is what I need. Is that something you can support? This is going to be your script as you're thinking through these four quadrants. This is what I need. Is that something you can support? And you don't need to say that to them right away, but you want to be able to write down what are the things that you need support from this community and how they can actually give that to you. So make sure you write that down in the personal. Now, let's shift gears to 3, professional. We all have various professional relationships that we know we need support in, whether that is the managing director, whether that is the CEO, whether that is your direct supervisor or manager or a colleague. I used to do coaching at a organization here in New York City before the pandemic. And one of the clients, we're doing a communication breakdown workshop. And one of the clients said in the meeting, I really need to have a conversation with my colleague here, but I don't know how to do it. And so we started with, okay, great. Let's go ahead and identify your experience of what the problem is for you. Now, what is what is it that you need? Ask yourself, this is what I need to the other person. Is that something you can support? Again, a very clear request. Majority of the times, especially in our professional relationships and also in our personal, we end communications without a request. And that request, what that does is it provides clarity, it supports healing, and it gives you an advantage to move the conversation forward. And unconsciously, it sets a boundary with yourself, which is expansion, expanding the things that you really want, and also limits the areas of miscommunication with yourself and also with other people. So go ahead and write that down in your professional relationships. You know you need support that you have not asked for. What does that support actually look like? Is it mentorship? Is it sponsorship? What is it that you need from your colleagues? Write that down. All right. So we have the first 3 quadrants. And then the last quadrant, again, that is special to you. I can't tell you what that is. You know in your heart of hearts what that area is for you. So write down, where is it that you need support? Okay. So we have all 4 quadrants filled up: me, personal, professional, and special to me. Now, here is the part that we want to be able to observe and see for ourselves. Where are you experiencing, looking on your list, where are you experiencing some of the exact same requests? Are there themes, boundaries? Do you see that showing up in your personal life and your professional life, also with yourself? Is it support in asking for what you need? What are the threads that you see that's interwoven in all these different areas? And so, what I want you to do as you take your time to look and see where are the threads, you want to make sure that you look to your what you celebrate about yourself and what the growth edge periods are for you. Because a lot of times when we are seeking to combine and tell the story of what's written in front of us on paper, we don't sometimes want the truth to come out because we're afraid of what it may say about us. We're afraid of the truth, not really, afraid of getting to the truth, but afraid of what that truth actually may be. And so when you have the list of what you celebrate about yourself, and you also have that growth edge, you have it on paper so you know what are some triggers for you. And you also know pathways that you can utilize in that celebratory phase in order to get you to tell the truth about the areas that you have not asked for support and see some of the common denominators. And as you're doing this, you're going to start to see, what's happening in my personal life, in my professional life, And also within me, there are some patterns that are developing. Write those things down and see what are the patterns that are developing. Now, as you go ahead and conclude this worksheet, what you really want to be able to ask yourself is, since asking for support begins and ends with me, and looking at the 4 quadrants that you have there, what is one thing that I can do to support myself, and just tackling one of those areas in the me and the personal and the professional and the special to me? What is one thing that I can do? Second, what is the area or areas that I need healing in? Asking for support is something that begins and ends with us. It's not something that an external force or an external validation can give to us. We reflect our value inwardly and allow it to flow outwardly. So chances are, when we're not asking for the support that we need, there is an area within ourselves that we need to clean up, that we need to have healing for. And so secondly, write down what are those areas that you need healing in, and be conscious of notifying to yourself here and in here, what are the source of my discontent? Where does this come from? You want to look back at childhood, family pathologies, the patterns that's been modeled for you. You want to look at your professional culture. What has been the culture of life that has been something that's just been taught to you? You may not necessarily have agreed with it, but you followed through with it because it was something that was just given to you, a blueprint that was never yours to take. Now you have an idea of being able to get to the third part of that. What is the new reality that you want for yourself? And by having that new reality, you're now going to have new goals that you want to be labeled in all of those 4 different quadrants. What is going to be that one area that you're going to take ownership in to get the support that you need? When you ask for support for yourself, work-life balance integration steps in. When you ask for support and are clear about your needs, the relationships with other people, those boundaries are going to be supported in all those areas. And last but not least, when you start to ask yourself for support, go back and do some of that healing work. And again, just do one step at a time to walk towards your new reality. That level of imposter syndrome, that lack of confidence, self-worth is going to dissipate, because you're going to get to understanding the healing nature of the core issue of why this is something that's a habit and a pattern for you, and it's something only you can heal. I hope you have enjoyed this 4 quadrants of support. If I can be of service to you and helping you, your company, or your organization work through these issues, my information, of course, is at the base of this video. Thank you so much. You can learn more about me by visiting KLAYSWilliams.com, and I'm on all of your favorite social media by the handle of @PlanA with Klay. That's @PlanA with Klay. And remember that Klay is with a K. Thanks for listening to this worksheet. I look forward to seeing you in our very next tutorial on Plan A with Klay. Peace, everyone.